Hi, I'm Craig,
Hi, I'm Matt.
and it's time for some Topic Town intro. We need to work on that intro a little bit.
Yeah. What should we talk about?
Okay,
today?
let's talk about intros.
It sounds like a good one.
Yeah.
Intros.
Particularly, let's talk about intros of other people's media, not our own intro, because
Yeah.
there's not a whole lot to talk about there.
Yeah, so we've tasked ourselves with coming up with our top 5 intros.
Yes, we did. But first, Matt, let's have a little discussion. Okay?
Okay.
Let's
Let's have a discussion before our discussion.
okay, sure.
Pre-discussion.
Yeah.
Intro discussion.
What are the reasons you need intros? Why do we have intros for things?
Well, it's
I mean-
to identify the program, right? That you're watching?
I guess, but you already know the program. I guess on TV it made sense to have intros.
I think it
because
makes sense on radio, too.
maybe not on the internet so much.
The internet, not so much. Well, especially YouTube, anyway.
Yeah.
Because YouTube itself, like, you know, the title is above the video.
Mhm.
It's there. But I mean, if your video, if you plan to having your video on other things other than YouTube, on a different types of
Yeah,
players,
that's true.
like, it's not always going to have the title, you know, above it.
Also, I think it's a way of showing, like, hey, we plan stuff. We're professional.
Yeah,
We-
when you can, like, when you customize the title or the intro to you know, the theme or sort of the feel of the show, it kind of ties it together, or at least like it encapsulates like what the show is supposed to be. in a
Yeah,
way.
it's good for branding and like keeping everything in that world, in that
It, like, you know, it sort of introduces the show, obviously, but it introduces the, you know, like, it kind of puts people into the mindset of the show.
Yeah.
You know, like what you're supposed to.
yeah, like it's sort of like, okay, some have like the cold open, the thing that people say before, like we just did before our amazing intro.
Yeah.
And then the intro. So then when the intro happens, it's like, okay, now it's time for the real content.
Yeah.
You know? So I guess I can see the purpose of it. I think on the internet, people might go a little bit too crazy with it. Some intros are too long. It's good to keep them real short. Especially if your content is really short.
Yeah, well, that's that's the thing. It has to be sort of proportional to the length of your. I mean, not that like if you make a 3-hour movie, you should have a 30-minute intro, but it should be proportional. It should feel right.
Everything should. I just want to say you're a very proportional guy, Matt.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
That's
all,
what.
all,
That's
all
what I hear
parts
all
the right
time.
sizes. That was not supposed to imply anything. Okay, moving on. So we've been tasked. I wrote mine down analog style on your
Digital.
VidCon notebook.
Yep.
My top 5 intros across all media. Really.
I want to preface this saying that I'm not very good at making top 5 lists. Because I don't think of things like in top 5s of things. Because like for one thing,
Matt, we live in the age of top 5.
I know.
Yeah.
And I'm a man out of time.
Yeah, you are.
It's just for one thing, I feel like I'm forgetting things all the time. I feel like I'm forgetting something I really like.
I mean, I spent like 15 minutes coming up with this list.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm gonna mess it up. But this is the internet, man. You gotta move and shake.
Yeah.
You know, get it done.
You have
just get people talking.
Things forgotten stay forgotten.
Yeah.
Never.
Well, that's not true. We'll remember.
Well, anyways, I guess this list
in the comments they'll remind you.
Could change with me, because I'll remember something later on. In 2 weeks, this list is going to be different.
That's true. But also in the comments, people will let you know about what you forgot, and then you'll feel terrible.
Yeah, I'll feel really bad.
Yeah. Okay, I think let's get started here. Let's do some list action, shall we?
All right. You gonna
I'm gonna do. Mine isn't necessarily in. It's just 5. It's not in order.
Mine's not in order either. I kind of put it in order of style.
In fact, I'm gonna change my mind and try to put it in order right now.
Okay, I might change my order according to your order.
Okay, number 5 for me on my list, probably the least of the 5. Adventure Time. You ever seen it?
I haven't seen that. You know, I wanted to see that though.
I mean, the intro it's a cartoon, so it's a series of cartoon images from the cartoon. But the song is amazing. It's just a guy on acoustic guitar singing his high-pitched, sensitive voice. Adventure time, bring all your friends. Something, something never ends. It's really good.
Yeah.
It's a really good one.
I can see that.
I mean,
I've never seen it.
I watch it, I feel like a kid again. I act like a kid all the time, but I actually felt like a kid.
I think that's a good example of like really getting you into the mood, into the mindset of the show.
Yeah.
You know, like putting you in a place.
That's right. And it's very short too. It's like, oh, it's going to be a whole song. Oh, it's over. Wow. You know?
Yeah.
Because people hate listening to songs, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, yours.
This isn't really number 5 or number 1, but this is the first one I'm going to talk about.
Sure.
And because I wanted to sort of get these first 2 or 3 out of the way, because I feel like in some ways they're unfair, because it's a TV show, and they're really sort of epic. So I'm going to start with Game of Thrones, which I think is really awesome intro. It's like this, you see this world, and it's sort of like an inverted world where it's like the inside of a sphere, and then it's like it's so epic. It like really like gets you into it, and the song is there, and you see like all the cities, and they're like made out of like they're like sort of creating.
It's on my list too. I figured it would be on both of our lists. It'd probably be number 1 on my list.
I think there's probably a couple more.
Well,
maybe at least one more I think on here.
Well, the reason I think it's so good, it's stop motion. It's amazing production. It sets up each city or location that the show is gonna.
It looks kind of like a board game, you know, and it sort of gives that idea of like sort of.
But before the episode, whatever's going to happen, where you see it geographically before the show starts.
Yeah, and it's a good way of like getting you oriented where these things are. There's so many different places.
I feel like I need an encyclopedia of the world in front of me when I watch the show. Yeah. But the intro helps a little bit.
Yeah.
And I also don't watch it with young children. And if you are a young child, don't watch it. Okay?
Well, at least not with your parents around.
No. Okay, next on the list. We should probably get moving.
Yeah.
Number 4. I'm going to keep going in order, even though Game of Thrones is... You already know my number 1, Game of Thrones. Number 4 for me is Parks and Recreation. Have you... You don't watch that show?
I don't watch that show. I have seen the show. I don't remember the intro. What is it?
It's very, very clever editing and very smooth. It's like... The music's very light and orchestral. Like... And then it's like split screens kind of moving around and showing people.
Is it sort of like the 30 Rock intro?
I can't think of the 30 Rock intro.
That's what it sort of reminds me of. It's just like it has music like that, and there's like different it's shots basically of the people. It shows like 30 Rockefeller, and it's like kind of fast and.
Oh no, but that's not split screen.
It's not split screen.
No. It's I think it's a little more solid than the 30 Rock one. I think it's better. Okay, go on. Your turn.
Next, I'm talking about Mad Men.
Oh yeah,
I really like that intro because I like the style of it. It really because Mad Men, the show itself has like a really particular style from that era. The intro is like really. I just like that sort of. It's sort of a minimal. I guess it's 60s-ish style, but it's also. It shows all the advertisement and like just that sort of silhouette of the man falling.
Yeah,
and stuff. Like it really and that
symbolically, song, metaphorically, it really tells you what the show's about.
Yeah, I almost feel like the show, like the intro, is showing like a summarized version of the entire series.
Okay, we got to move quick now. We're running out of time. Number 3 on my list, Good Mythical Morning, that Rhett and Link's intro.
Yeah.
I think out of all, I think the Vlogbrothers, all of their shows, SciShow, Crash Course, and all those animated intros are fantastic. But I think Rhett and Link's takes the cake. I think it's just, come on, you've seen it,
Yeah.
Really good computer animation. It's not too long, but it is long for an internet show. But their shows are longer, so it's okay.
I don't really have any web series on here, mainly because I think there's a lot of web shows that have really good intros. And Good Mythical Morning, I think, is a really good example, but there's a lot that really, I think, do that really well. Even though, like we were saying, that YouTube stuff doesn't really need intros, they do it pretty well. My next one is another TV show, Lost.
Oh,
I really like the title.
Minimal.
It's so minimal, but it's also really epic.
Yeah,
It just says Lost, and it's like it's sort of you're like flying into it. And it's
that's what our. I thought I silenced my phone. Oh geez. Oh, this is. I've never. How do you shut it off? Okay. So that's where I think we took inspiration for our intro. It's from Lost. You know?
Yeah.
in fact, retroactively, that's what our intro is. I thought it was going to be a text of overlaying on us, but because of this conversation, it's the Lost intro. Similar to the Lost intro. Yeah. That's why it was similar to the Lost intro at the beginning. We didn't know that until now, though. Okay, then I'm going to go Simpsons.
Simpsons, that's a good one. I almost had that on mine.
That would be number 2, and you already know my number 1, Game of Thrones. Yeah. Simpsons is great. It's just it takes you through the town and sets up the relationship with all the characters, and then it has those little changes every time in the intro, so it gives you a reason to watch, like the couch gag and such. And then it's amazing that they're able to invent new ones every time. Okay.
Next, I have Radiolab.
Okay.
I think that's just really
podcast. It's an audio intro, but it's quite a feat to have an interesting audio.
It's a sort of an audio collage that's like saying the titles from all different sources, and it really sets up the way the show is, which is they're all about stitching together all audio from different places and making this sort of larger collage.
Right. I like to think that you're a very proportionally sized collage of human parts, Matt.
Human part collage.
That's right.
That's my.
And you already know my number 1, Game of Thrones.
My number 1 is Welcome to Night Vale.
Oh, and the camera ran out because we talked too much. But anyways, what you were saying, your number 1 is Welcome to Night Vale?
Welcome to Night Vale.
And that's your number 1?
Well, it's not my number 1. It's just the last one I'm talking about because they're not in any particular order. But I thought I really like the Welcome to Night Vale because it's as I was saying, it's just that character Cecil, his voice, he says something creepy or mysterious. And it doesn't, or something that just doesn't make any sense, and it always ends with "Welcome to Night Vale," and then the song starts, and I just nice. I like that.
Gets you in the creepy mood.
Yeah, it's like takes you right there.
Okay, so I had some runners up. I had Orange Is the New Black, Perfect Strangers.
Oh, Orange Is the New Black. That's a good one.
And Toby Turner. Intro of Darkness and Redness and Whiteness. You know what I'm talking about. Matt doesn't know what I'm talking about.
Orange Is the New Black is a good one, and I want to just say that I really like the song. It's
Regina Spektor.
Yeah, the song is so good in that.
But the reason it's not in my top 5 is because it's too long. I think it's too long of an intro.
It is kind of long.
It goes on too long.
Yeah,
but it is really good. And your runners up, sir?
Yeah, I call these wild cards because I left them out because.
My runners.
You'll see.
Mine are more athletic. They're runners, and yours are wild, like a crazy cat.
Yeah,
because you're a cat person.
Yeah, a crazy cat.
My
wild
dog
is a domestic.
I don't know what I'm talking about. Move on.
So first one is This American Life, which doesn't really have a set intro, but it does. It's not like they have like theme music or anything like that. It's more like they start with something. Usually a short little segment. But it's not always like that, and then it's sort of that leads into the larger story,
right?
And I like that.
Okay, what else you got? List them off. We're already over time here.
Yeah. And the other one is the Curb Your Enthusiasm outro.
That's a good one. And with that, we have to go because we need to learn. We've learned that 10 minutes is a short amount of time.
Yeah,
and we got to be not so verbose.
Yeah.
Particularly talking about how we're verbose, like I'm doing. I'm wasting more time. But I hope you've enjoyed our topic town time.
Yeah, and leave in the comments, suggest topics for us to talk about.
Yep. You've suggested some already from our previous video, but we haven't had a chance to look at them because we just shot this right after the other video.
Yeah.
Next video will be on another day, though.
Yeah.
So we'll have plenty of comment reading time.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Outro.